All right, welcome everybody to the Wednesday afternoon Elite Series team call. I'm super excited that you guys are here live with us. I'm going to go over not too many announcements because you guys know they are in the coach breaking news in your coach online office and also on the national wake up calls. But I do want to celebrate a couple of people that won the Take Action Challenge this week. Every week we've been sharing those people. Sean Brigagnon in Edmonton, Canada, won $100 for the third time. And we have Kim Ray's earned a $250 apparel gift card. And then Riley Higgins won a trip for two to the Hard Rock in Riviera Maya, Mexico. So those are our winners from the team this week that I saw. So congrats to them. And then I want to invite you guys that are on this call to take massive action in the Take Action Challenge. Just a reminder, if you log on the digital business activity tracker, every single day you get your name in the drawing. All you do is just log into the coach online office on your phone. It's right there at the top, track today. And then just track your BAT. That gets your name in the drawing. And then also every time you send 5 invites to your bod group, you get your name in the drawing. And every time someone joins your group, you get your name in the drawing as well. So it's purely based off of taking action. And I want to see you guys win those prizes and see more of you guys win those prizes. So one of the tips I gave last week that that a few coaches have done, and one of them won the $100, was just create like a free group where you can use the sample workouts. Like you could share the sample workouts. I have a list of them in my notes of like 11 different sample workouts, just all copy and pasted. Like here's a lift 4 sample, this and that. And then what I'm having them do and what I'm doing as well is just inviting everybody to come do a free like 30-day long group where we'll share like nutrition ideas and free sample workouts and kind of introduce people to the community. It's a great way to take action with this as well and maybe win some prizes and then let people that haven't really jumped on board yet get a taste of what bod groups looks like and what these workouts look like. So with that being said, I'm going to announce our guest speaker for today. We have Amanda on the call with us today. She led an she's an elite 2021 elite team. She's led a premier team for two years prior to that. She's a 6-star diamond coach, Success Club All-Star legend. She was a panelist at the New Leader Conference. She's been a speaker on the Beachbody Champions page. She's been a speaker on the Canada coach page. She's on the Toronto Market Council. Last year, her team finished 198 in the entire company and number 21 in all of Canada. And with that being said, Amanda, I'm going to pass the time over to you.
Hi, friends. So it's so great to be here. When Scotty asked me, like, oh, it was a while ago now, which feels weird because I feel like it was literally just yesterday he asked, but that's just how time is passing here for me in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So I am, like Scotty said, the proud founder of Good Vibes Wellness is my team name. It's so interesting. Like Scotty is just so my kind of human. So when he asked me to do this, I was like, yes, you literally exude good vibes. You are literally like my brand. So I'm super happy to be here. I also go by AMQ because my name is literally a mouthful. So if you guys ever hear me refer to myself in the third person, which I sometimes do, that's who I'm talking about, is myself. I also, just before I even say anything, just want to say, because I think it's important that everyone who's here live and everyone who's going to watch this recording, and if you have any touch points with Scotty as a leader, you guys are in a really great place. And I think that I want to give him a shout out because he just deserves it, and he deserves the kudos, and he has no idea, but I've been watching him for years, nobody knew who I was until 2 years ago because I didn't figure it out until then, but I've been watching and I admire him, and you guys are just super blessed to have a leader like him. So I thought that it was really, really important to start with that. So I'm going to warn you guys, I'm a Ramblesaurus Rex. I talk a lot, I say a lot. It is what it is. So before I talk about Beachbody stuff, some things that you should know about me are that my favorite color is red. So you can pretty much figure that out by the fact that I sit in a throne every day that's bright red. I pretty much think leopard is a color as well. If I'm not wearing red, I'm wearing leopard. Usually I'm wearing both at the same time. That's who I am. I'm also a podcaster. If you can see my mic behind there, I'm going to touch on that a little bit. And a wife, a mom to now 2 animals, a cat and a dog mom. And I am quite literally probably one of the loudest people you'll ever meet, but I'm 4'10". So I make up for my lack of height in my voice, I guess you'll say. So that's who I am. And those things are important for me to talk about because those are some things that make me me. And for a really long time, all of those things, all of them were things I didn't share about at all. And I wondered, right? I've been coaching since 2015. So I wondered why, oh, like I just can't seem to find my people. Yeah, you know what? It's really difficult to find your humans when you're putting on a new hat every day and you're pretending to be someone you're not. You end up attracting people who might be incredible humans and on that note, incredible leaders. But what ends up happening is that the culture within your team doesn't vibe because the people that you're bringing on, they're just not your people. And the reason might be because you don't quite know who that is yet. And that's cool, right? We're all like tumbling and rumbling through life. It's fine. But sometimes when it comes to coaching, it's because the imposter syndrome really sets in. And, we look at all these coaches that we admire. And there is a difference between admiration and trying to be like them. I know this because, sometimes I have to check my own team and be like, I love you guys, but just because I do this doesn't mean you need to too. Right? When we've all been in life situations where you can tell someone's like forcing something, a topic, a conversation, a style, and it's like icky and you're sort of like, you wince for them and it's cringeworthy. You don't want that. Guess what? If I know you well and I'm cringing at you doing a certain thing, your audience probably feels that same way. So for me, I quite frankly did not start even seeing success in my business until I honestly got out of my own way. So I'm gonna just kind of go through the little write-up I wrote for Scotty because it's really important to give you guys kind of a background into who I am and kind of how it went because it's been a roller coaster. It's kind of like not even like a roller coaster like woo 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 woo. It was like the roller coaster that you get on and it feels like you're going for like 10 years. That's what it was like for me. So I am going to do my due diligence and say trigger warning because I do talk about disordered eating and my experience with eating disorders. So if that is activating to anybody, I'm just out of respect for you, no hard feelings if anybody leaves, but it's part of my story and it's a very important part of my story. So it needs to be addressed. Before I started Beachbody, was the kind of human who would scoff at people talking about reading personal development. I would roll my eyes at, I lived in like downtown Toronto. And so I would see people like with their little yoga mats on their back and they'd be like walking to their yoga class and I'd see them outside my window and I would literally roll my eyes. Like, I don't know why, it's not like they saw me rolling my eyes. It's not like they were bothering me in any way, but I would just roll my eyes like, oh my God, look at them go. Like it was terrible. And I was just I'm so miserable. I was so miserable and mean, just such a mean girl. And anytime anyone, mentioned living a healthier lifestyle, I was like, it was like whack-a-mole, I was like, no. And it was because in my opinion, I was living my best life. I was like, I'm living my best life. I'm like going out and partying it up on every day that ends with Y. I spend time around humans who love me and I love them. I got this. It's fine. Everything's fine. But really what ended up happening was I would go home and I'd be by myself and I was still lonely, right? There's camaraderie when it comes to spending your days, your nights out, at the bar with your friends. But like at the end of the day, those people are not in my life anymore, right? I'm a semi-retired bar star now. You give me the right environment, I'm still there. But it's something that was a part of who I was because of my personality. I thrive in those environments. But I realized, okay, I was using it as a front. And what nobody knew was that in these days where I was, going out, I was also working in travel at the time. So I was spending a lot of time in different time zones, living out of suitcases. So when I was home, which was literally next to never, the year I got married, I was away for 265 of 365 days. So to give you guys an idea. And I would come home and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know when I'm going to leave next. Like I have to see all my friends. I have to go out. I have to do all the things. And I'm such an extremist in that way. And I was battling super silently with multiple eating disorders. I was bulimic. And the reason for that was because I was like, well, I keep finding weight. So I don't know. This sounds like a way to, take care of it. I wasn't educated. I didn't grow up in a household that, had fitness as a priority. I lived in a very European upbringing where portion control was not a thing and everything on my plate was brown, some form of beige, potatoes, bread, some kind of meat. It was all beige. There was no vegetables. I didn't know what those looked like. So I didn't know, I'm in my early 20s and I don't know any better. And that happened. Then, then I experienced body dysmorphia because you're like, oh my gosh, who's this person I'm looking at in the mirror? And it was just not a good scene. And during all this, my friend, now friend and coach, would slide on into my DMs and she'd be like, AMQ, you should join me. And I'd be like, I will, no. And we're talking like we've all experienced being left on red. We've all experienced people saying no to me, no to you. I was a B, like mean, and she didn't stop. She didn't stop. And she opened every single time. I literally scrolled up when Scotty asked me to do this, I scrolled up 6 years in messages to see. And she messaged me a dozen times on the 12th try. But after I said no matter how mean or how not mean I was, she would always say, it's okay, AMQ. I believe in you. I know this is something that's going to serve you someday. Every time. Okay. Every time. And I was just like, because I'm miserable. So I'd be like, oh my gosh, whatever. And I would just, of course she would do that and she would plant the seed and I would just stalk her. And this was before IG stories and this is before IGTV or reels. So you have to like really, really pay attention to a human to get an idea of their personality because pretty much it was just static posts. And she would post like a static post here and a workout video here on her feed. And I would be like, oh, she just looks so happy. Like I need that, like I need that energy in my life. So finally she invited me a 12th time and I said yes. And I was like, oh, begrudgingly. Okay. Like begrudgingly, I was like, fine, something's got to give. I don't know. I guess like I could take these workouts with me when I'm traveling in hotels. That was like the selling point for me. So like, I'll do it. I'll take it. So I did. And that was in December of 2015. And honestly, I went all in. So I was like, fine, let's see what these people are talking about. I'll do the whole podcast thing. I'll buy into the whole reading books thing. I'll commit to this accountability group. I'm pretty much a hype girl for everybody in my life anyways. So this sounds pretty much up my alley. And in doing that without even thinking, the humans in my orbit wanted in on what I was doing. They just did. And what they said to me was, it's your energy. Something happened. Your energy has shifted and I like it. And I want that in my life. And that stuck with me. That stuck with me when I went to go name my team. That stuck with me for anything I do in my business. That sticks with me when I have to have the not so nice conversations with my team. That sticks with me when I have to like pump rainbows up their butts. Like it sticks with me, because energy is something that I've always led with. And even when I was slowing down, like my low energy is most people's like operating at 11, so I know that. And people really were attracted to that. And so when I onboard anyone, client or coach, I actually do ask people, so why us? Why Good Vibes Wellness? Because most people join my team for my team. They don't really join my team for like, they're like, yeah, that dance program looks awesome, but like your team culture, oh my gosh, like that's what people come to me for. So I always ask, and it's always 2 words that they use: energy and community, because that's what I lead with. And I went from being this judgy, like mean girly person because I was hurting and because I didn't know better and because nobody had ever offered me an opportunity like this, and the fact that this human kind of knew, but not really, who was also a semi-retired bar star too, was sending me these invites. And I was like, if she can do it, I can too. Like I saw a little piece of me, a possibility. And so that's what I try and plant in other human beings as well. So to fast forward a little bit, so that was 2015. January 2016, I like really started coaching. I have only missed Success Club 1 month, and that was because somebody returned it. And I'm a bitter Betty. I will tell you, I know exactly which prize I didn't get because one of my good friends, Brittany Hulko, is always using it. It's the Beachbody umbrella. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's the one prize I didn't get. And it's funny because that was like one of the only ones I would have cared to get anyways. So I'll never forget about it. And so if you fast forward to July 2019, this is where like everything happened for me. And if you had told me, I would have been like, there's no way. There's, like if someone was like, you're going to quit your job and travel that you're like amazing at, top of the company, love your life, and you're going to be a coach full time, I would have been like, absolutely the fuck not. No, no. I didn't say the swear word. I said there was a G at the end of that. So just like to say, in July 2019, my mentor's mentor. So if any of you know who Morgan Rieger is, she's also a top Canadian coach. She reached out to me and she was like, okay, AMQ, like I was obviously a diamond coach at this point. I'd been a diamond coach for literally like 3.5 years, like just riding the diamond wave. And like some days I was diamond, some days I wasn't. And she was like, I want you to do a team call for us. And I lost my mind. I was like, like, this is a vision board thing. I can't, what do you mean? I don't even do my own team calls. How am I supposed to do your team call? I don't know what to do. And she was like, just tell your story. And I'm like, what story? And she was like, your story, like literally what Scotty asked me to do here. That's what she was asking me to do. I was like, I don't have a story. She's like, of course you do. Like, AMQ? Yes, you do. And so I was like, okay, like panicking and getting it all ready. And that was the first time that I shared publicly about the fact that joining Beachbody and getting into a rhythm where I actually enjoyed movement and I wasn't treating it as a punishment, but instead as an outlet for all this energy that I have, like plugged into a wall all the time. It changed everything for me and it helped me get a handle on my eating disorders. It really helped me understand that, food didn't rule me and movement didn't have to be a punishment. It's a privilege. It taught me all that. And some people like roll their eyes at me sometimes when I talk about like, hey, this saved me. Because they're like, saying that Beachbody saved you is a big statement, but I don't care because it's my truth. And if the humans in my life weren't here to pick me up when I was falling down and lift me up and cheer me on, I always say, cheer me up and cheer me on. If these humans weren't here to cheer me up and cheer me on, I don't know where I would be today. And I think it's really important that we say those stories with pride and that we understand that Beachbody is a vehicle that's getting us where we want to go. And when I realized, oh, wait, I have the ability to work and live, not live to work, I was like, I have to do this. This is an opportunity for me to be myself and I get paid. Somebody's paying me to be me. Excuse me? Like, I have been in countless situations at work where, remember that whack-a-mole example I gave y'all? That's what it was like. It was like, AMQ, shh. AMQ, you're saying too much. AMQ, not that word. No. Like that was literally how it was for me at my old jobs. And I was like, wait, I get to be myself here. And people just flock to me because I'm me. And then it's like I have a repellent for those who don't want to be in my, cool, that's great. That is like amazing. You don't like me? No problem. So for me, I realized after that call, it was like, honestly, there's like maybe over 100 people on this call. And there was two things that impacted me. One is a lot of these people were the people I've been running with, they were like around when I started coaching and they had no idea about this part of my story. And the support that I got after that call, the reaching out that I got, the moments where people said like, hey, AMQ, you need to share this story. Like, this is an important story because a lot of us are going through it silently too. It was that, but it was also just feeling seen. That opportunity that somebody told me, whoa, like that light, you need to shine it. Again, I just didn't think I was worthy of that. So that opened up everything for me. Then I went to Indy for Coach Summit. Then Jericho released Morning Meltdown 100. And Morgan and my team said to me, AMQ, this is your program, okay? The concept of being 100, I don't half-ass anything, I full-ass everything. That is Jericho. And she's basically like the human form of a lightning bolt. I got a tattoo of the lightning bolt after I did my first round of Morning Meltdown. I went all in on this program and saw honestly the best physical results I've ever seen. However, I don't run my business on physical results because of the fact that I battle eating disorders. So if you creep on my page, you will never see a before and after photo. And guess what? I'm pretty dang successful at what I do. So it goes to show you that you're going to do you. You do what works for you in your season. Will I never post before and after photos? I don't know. I'm 35 and trying to get pregnant. So I'll probably share my postpartum journey. I'm sure at that point I will. But right now it just doesn't serve me. I am in eating disorder recovery and it doesn't serve me. But a lot of the humans I'm bringing on are in that same boat. And so they can relate and they can empathize. And they're running their businesses in a lot of the same ways. Because why? Because I'm forging the path, because I'm showing that you can and you can be successful at it. So that happened. Started using my voice more, loved it. I had a goal of getting 100 humans to do Morning Meltdown with me, and I did. I slayed it. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh, like literally the best challenge group ever. And then from then on, I was like 12 out of 10 on all the time. And in the middle of November, my mentor, Jake Story, called me, my corporate mentor, Jake Story, called me. He said, okay, AMQ, I have something to tell you. You have all the points to be premier. You just need a diamond. But you have like a week and a half. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, you got this. Like you got it. And I was like, okay. And I am a rebel. Like I don't like to, when people challenge me, I'm like, let's go. So we did it. I don't know how we did it. I leaned into my leadership. I talked to all of the leaders who'd been with me for a really long time. And we just did the things, right? We did the things. We got on power hours. I was in every group chat you can imagine. We talked to everybody we knew and their cousin. We did it all. And it was so much fun. And it created that amazing energy that I always talked about. And my team let me know, hey, this is what we needed, AMQ. We needed you to tell us what to do. We didn't actually know how to go diamond. Like we didn't know what to do. You don't run your own team calls. Like, can you maybe do that? And they really pushed me. And I'm super sassy. And so I have a super sassy team. I asked for it. They deliver. It's fine. Sometimes I can't handle it, but I created them this way. So it is what it is. I created a bunch of little sassy monsters, but we qualified for 2-star in the last possible week. I remember like on New Year's Eve, like being like, okay, I think we got it. It says we got it. I think we have it. Then you have to wait 6 days for corporate to call you. It was like the most stressful New Year's ever. And I was so excited. We were a premier team and that was it. Like literally started last year in January with a fire in my belly, went to NLC. I don't know if any of you on this call have been to NLC. It better be on your goal list. Katie on this call was at NLC with me. And that, I mean, she can speak to this, that like 4 days of my life was, if you imagine life to be just like one big road and there's like detours and it's like, this is like, if you go this way, it is guaranteed shit's going to work out for you. That's basically how it felt for me. I remember walking into the Intercontinental, the little, like the room that they have, and looking around and being like, oh, okay. So like everyone here earned this, right? Like this is the new leader conference. I was upset because I was not a new leader. I'm a very literal person and I got like all up in my feels and I was like, I shouldn't even be here. Like I've literally been coaching for 4 years. Like this is lame. All these people have been coaching for like 6 months and they're here. And then Jamie Fitzpatrick gave me a lashing and was like, AMQ, you're doing great. And I was like, okay. So I leaned into that and I love Sammy Hoffhines now. She's literally my favorite human being in the world. And she spoke not once, but twice at my NLC. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to be on that stage. Like I want to be like in one of those directors' chairs, just like Sammy, like total. I do not do this for celebrities, but for whatever reason, there's a couple of coaches who are now my friends, which is ironic, that I would be like, oh my gosh. And that was her. And I walked up to her one of those lovely evenings when we get all the drink tickets in the world, so embarrassing. And I walked up to her and I was like, hi, Sammy. Hi. Hey, hi. My name's AMQ. You don't know me yet, but you will. It's literally what I said. And she does. We're friends now. But the moral of that story is I decided when I left that event, I was just going to put people in my orbit who made me better. None of this like living mediocre stuff. None of this being like, oh my gosh, Sammy, like heart eye emoji face. I am no different than Sammy. You are no different than Sammy. We're all coaches who decide which path we go, how much to lean into who we are, how much not to, how hard we're going to work, how smart we're going to work. People we're going to spend and waste our time on, people we're not. And I use waste very sparingly, but sometimes it really is a waste. Sometimes you really do need to learn to let go as a leader. And I left that conference. I wrote down in my journal, and I went back to this freaking journal this year. I wrote down, I will be a speaker at NLC next year on the coach panel. Not like I will be a speaker at NLC. No, I will be a speaker at NLC on the coach panel. And I told Jake, and I told my team, and I told my close friends, and I told Sammy, and I told Jamie Fitzpatrick, and I was like, all these people around me are going to hold me accountable. I'm earning this. I'm going to work my butt off, and corporate's going to notice me. And that's what happened. If you guys, all of you must know who Beth Isbell is. I was honored to share the virtual stage with Beth, and it was literally the best experience of my life. And quite frankly, watching other people watch me get that goal, check, marked, sealed, delivered, was also a game changer for my business, because I talked about it all year. I was like, that conference I went to in February, thank goodness I went, because the world shut down after. It changed everything for me, and here's why. I'm working my butt off every day because I want to speak on that panel. And I had a reason. For wanting to speak on that panel, and that was this. So at this panel, at NLC, they put underneath all of our chairs, they put a little magnet that said, don't be casual. Okay. That was the theme. Yep. Katie has it too. That was the theme. And wow, when you hear something and it's like 2 words and you're like, oof, you feel like you were knocked in the gut. That's what that was for me. I just thought to myself, okay, I've been casual about my business. It's not even really a business. You can't, business and casual are not, they're I get that business casual is a phrase for clothes, but I don't even think that makes sense. It really doesn't. I feel like they're oxymoronic, but don't be casual is huge for me, because I came back and I wasn't. I swear I was on that plane and I was like, when this plane touches down at Pearson International Airport in Toronto, I am a different AMQ. I am a leader of leaders. I don't care. I'm going to share unapologetically. I'm going to lose people. I'm going to lose leaders. I'm going to lose top leaders. And I'm going to have the courage to be disliked. And that was what I shared. It was my talking point at NLC. I had the courage to be disliked. And I like to think I'm a pretty dang likable person, but people old me don't like me now, right? People scoff at me and think, oh my gosh, there's no way this is she can't be a real human being. People cannot be this energetic. I am, it's what it is. But I think it's super important to understand that that can happen. One event can happen. And National Wake Up Call can happen. They asked me to do the National Wake Up Call last July, and I was like, excuse me? Again, Sandy, what do you want me to talk about? Your story. It's always the same conversation. And I'm like, what about my story? They're like, your story, and I still am like, okay, is it important? It's that important? She's like, it is. Mm-hmm. So, and at that point, our team halfway through the year had become an elite team in July of last year. So there was a lot to talk about. And I can tell you this, I hit all these, I'm going to be full disclosure because this is important in leadership. Last year, I had all these benchmarks, okay? All these benchmarks and people holding me accountable, people in high places, okay? People who I really cared about. I got a little Jamie Fitzpatrick, text every once in a while being like, where you at, boo? What's it at? What are we looking at? And that's huge to have those accountability buddies, but they can't hold you accountable unless you set the goals. And you know what? I have not done that this year. We are in June. Last year right now, I was coming up on putting on elite. I was right there, just waiting a couple more weeks to lock in 6-star, and I was getting it. And I didn't do that this year. I got not so much cocky, but comfortable, and trusted that my leaders who were my leaders and friends. And that didn't happen. And I've lost all of my diamonds. And they don't jive with how our team runs anymore, and they've outgrown us, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Are my goals the same? Totally. Am I still running for things? Totally. But have I been open with my team about it? No. And I'm learning from my own mistakes. So even writing this spiel for Scotty, I was like, okay, this is pushing me. I'm going to be better in June. I'm stepping it up and I'm going to start doing X, Y, and Z. And I went into my Rise Up planner and I looked at like what worked last year. What was I doing last year in May and June? And it literally set me down this spiral of self-improvement, because as leaders, that's what we need to always be doing. And I think that it's really, 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 really beautiful that we get to control the seasonality of our businesses and just let them work for us. So in learning, hey, AMQ, you can share about being a coach and you can share about these fitness programs and food and still be in eating disorder recovery and still become a voice on that matter. So much so that in January I said, screw it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start a podcast, and it's called I Got You, Boo. And the concept is me and my friend Becca, we joined forces. She's also a coach, and we're just here to help every single human being learn to love themselves in every size, shape, and season. And I think that that's just who I am. Right? Like it's part of, it's literally at my core, like right there with red and leopard print is me wanting humans to find the joy in this journey, because we're here for a good time, not a long time. And it's just less too short, right? To be spending your life hating your job, hating your body, hating anything. And we're just really big on that. But I'll tell you this, remember what I said about the vehicle thing? This is a 0% chance I would have started a podcast if I wasn't a coach. Nope. 0% chance I would be able to be building the life that I thought was like literally you'd see people living those lives and you'd be like, that's not real life. It's not. If you told me I could do that, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't have believed you, because where I was where I was going to stay. It was very much a like, you're good at this, you're going to stay. Everyone likes to be good at something, right? I loved being good at what I did. I loved it, but it was never paying me the way that it needed to in my soul, in my bank account, just all together. And it wasn't doing me any services. So now in 2021, I can proudly say that, yes, I'm in ED recovery. It's a battle for sure, but I'm a warrior. It's definitely a battle. I'm going to tell you guys, working for Beachbody, working for a company that is very focused on weight loss, can be problematic at times, but I figure it out. And I figure it out because I want other people to realize it doesn't just have to be a one-track business. This doesn't have to look one way. I have tons of girls on my team that are on a weight gain journey, and they share that freely and openly. So super proud about that. Yes, we're an elite top Canadian team, ranked in the top 200. But the best part about what we do and what my team looks like now versus how it did last year at this time is, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I've literally never said this out loud, but I like every single leader on my team. When they come on a team call and I see their face, I get excited. I don't wince. I don't worry that I'm going to get a text that says something unkind. I don't worry I'm going to be judged. My people are my people. And I worked my butt off to create that culture. And maybe they're not putting up big numbers. Maybe they're not rank advancing to like 5-star out the gates. But guess what? Neither did I. But I showed them that this is all about your journey, your pace. Everyone's journey is going to look different, but my journey really is my pace. And I'm all about that, like speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. I create a sustainable life with this business, because you can't be going like rocket launch speed all the time. And any of us who've ever been in quals know what that feels like. And I just realized last week that I haven't been in quals in my business in a year. And I was mad at myself. I was like, oh, AMQ, you have some goals and they are not happening. And, I let myself feel my feels, be angry, do all the things. Oh my gosh, no, say the mean things to myself. And then, then I grabbed a bunch of Post-it notes. Where are they? I always have Post-it notes with me, and I grabbed a bunch of Post-it notes and wrote nice things and put them all over that's what I do, my bathroom mirror and stuff. And that was good, right? I was good. I was like, it's okay. You love the humans on your team and you keep on moving. And when I say, I get the concept of like, some of us will hear leaders and we'll watch the national wake up call, and we'll hear people be like, your vibe attracts your tribe, be the energy you want to attract, just, keep putting yourself out there, your people will find you. And people are like, but I'm doing that. It's like, no, you're not. You're not. Listen, me too. I was like, Kirsten, I am doing that. She's like, you're not, because I know you and that's not you on social media. So figure it out. Like, this is not who you're being on social media. And I'd be like, I am. She's like, I'm not arguing with you. Like, it's not. And I think that that's like the hardest part, is being able to do that self-assessment and just say, okay, like, would I want to be friends with me? Like, am I attracting the kind of person that I actually want to help? Like, am I attracting sad pandas because I'm talking about when I was a sad panda, but I'm not showing that I solved my problems with this vehicle that's this beautiful thing called Beachbody? Because you got to remember, as much as I love that I shared my story like this, if I only showed up on social media and I only said AMQ in 2015 was a bar star, AMQ in 2015 was bulimic, but I never talked about like who I am now and how I got here, then I'm only going to be attracting that person. You want to attract the human who is ready to make a change. Yes, you want to speak to the person you were before Beachbody, totally, but the one that was ready. The one that when Kirsten sent her 12th message, I said, fine. Like, I literally was like, oh my God, leave me alone, fine. And that's who you want, the one that's ready to commit. So all that goes to say, I really, really do believe that a couple things, okay? So let's circle back to this. You have to have the courage to be disliked. 100%, that needs to be okay. You have to learn to build that backbone, whatever that looks like. It just is. And you also kind of like, it's like an A and B. You also, I said this on my national wake up call, and I'm going to say it again. You cannot make everyone happy. You are not tacos. Okay? You're not. Okay? If you don't like tacos, I don't know what to tell you. Not sure. Can't be friends. But you cannot be everything for everyone. You just physically can't, emotionally can't. You don't like everyone. So why do you want everyone to like you? It doesn't matter. Who cares? Like, who cares? Moving on. Like, it doesn't matter. And the third thing is also something that's like my saying, but I truly believe in highlighting the real, right? We live in this beautiful social media world with like bright filters and filters that like change what we look like. And of course, we only like post like this pose and not that pose. And there's every time we take a photo, there's like 16 in our camera roll that don't make the cut. But highlighting the real doesn't mean posting the like ugly photo. Highlighting the real means showing up on your stories on the days where you feel like you're a topsy-turvy upside down, to show people, like I do, that it's not always rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns, and that you can have bad days, because you can only have good days if you know what bad days feel like, really, and that's true to anything in life. So highlighting the real makes you relatable. Showing up on your stories and only, this is like such a pet peeve. I love my team, but my team does this so well, bless them, is showing up on your stories and being like, okay, this morning, energize. And then dance party, because that's what we do. I dance every day. And then workout videos, and then drops off the face of the planet until the evening. And then team call, boomerang, no explanation about what we learned on the team call, just a boomerang of people's faces, because everybody in the world isn't on Zoom right now, right? Totally. So what I'm saying is that none of the in between has anybody living their life. Walk your dog, when people sign up as a Beachbody coach, it's like they forget that they were humans on their social media before coaching. And then all of a sudden, all their socials is just Beachbody. And I'm like, no. Like, talk about your dog. Talk about how when you went to the vet today to take your dog at 2 p.m., you could take your dog at 2 p.m. because you have the time freedom to do that and the financial freedom. Oh my God, while you're sitting in the car waiting for your dog, tell that story, Yes, it's still about coaching, but you're sharing your life. Share a boomerang of the food you're eating. Oh, you're out with your friends? Great, take a photo. Like, we forget to be humans and we just become Beachbody coaches. So just remember that this all goes to say, this is all in the big umbrella of like, you really need to figure out who you want to be attracting. And if you just think of it like simple, This morning I wake up, every morning I wake up, I have this little saying. It doesn't matter when I wake up. Sometimes I try to be consistent with my 5 a.m.s. It's changed since this quarantine life. Guys, I've been in quarantine for a year and a half. You know, somebody's got to cut me some slack here. But I literally get up every morning and I take my 2 little tiny feet, hit the ground, and I go 2 feet, heartbeat. It's going to be a good day every single day. And some days are better than others, but I'm alive, right? And I think that those are small things that make you you, just like affirmations that you say, a book that you love, like those things in your day that you share are the moments that you're giving people the opportunity to like, know, and trust you, right? So just remember that when you're trying to build your brand or trying to figure out who you really are as a human being, just remember it's not like you're not going to figure it out all the time. And we have that flexibility. A lot of us are in jobs right now or have been in jobs where like you had like it had to be like this way. You had to be this way. You had to look a certain way. Your hair had to be this color. You couldn't have like nails, like whatever it was, right? Like there's all these regulations put on you that are basically stopping you from being you. And you don't have that here. So, I mean, the only requirement that Beachbody has is like, just be a nice human. If you suck, you'll get weeded out. Like if you're a shitty human, bye. I lost a couple of those on my team this past year. That's okay. And that's the best part is like the only requirement is like, don't suck. Just be nice, care about other human beings, pay it forward. So that's honestly all I have to say, other than I'm going to leave it with, and if any, I didn't look at the chat the entire time, so I'm going to go look at it, but I saw Scotty writing it like the whole time. I'm too like squirrely, but the one thing I will say is that if something looks like it's impossible, like if you look at something and you're like, oh, like let's say you have a goal of being an elite team and you just got your numbers back last, this month, and you're like, whatever it is, whatever your numbers are, and you're like, that's just no way. I don't have the diamonds. I don't have the points. There's just no way. I'm going to tell you something, okay? Do you guys see this word? Do you see this word? Okay. The word impossible, right? In the word impossible, it literally says, I'm possible. So anytime you're like, oh, whatever, hands up in the air, like pulling out my hair, whatever it is, just remember, like, it is possible. Like, it is. And nothing is impossible unless you make it. And that's it. Like that you just, and if you miss the mark, who cares? Right? If you enjoyed the journey, who cares? Like I had a friend who didn't get elite by 1 point. Who cares? She was like, whatever. That's the way to be. She likes her job. She loves what she does. She gets to make an impact. Go for gold. And if you miss it, you get silver. Who cares? That's pretty awesome. So just, that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. I know I left a lot of like AMQ one-liner things because that's just who I am, but I'm going to read some comments. Yeah, Morgs is the best. Hurt people. Yes, 2019. Everyone needs to go to NLC if you haven't gone and you're like not a 1-star yet. I'm telling you, I haven't been to leader. I went to virtual leadership. I haven't been to an in real life leadership yet, but I feel like NLC is going to be like my all-time favorite event. Never been casual about my life, but I had to switch my leader role. Yep. Exactly. Everybody's story is important. People that were on your team, like Scotty, you've been at this for a long time. You are a different human, bud. So there's just like, I just think of it as like a miracle when people are still with me. I have OGs for sure. I have very supportive people in my community, but they've also grown, like along, I wasn't pulling them. It wasn't like me being the horse and them being the carriage. So I think that that's something that's really important to remember, that they're not going to be with you. I know you inherited Beth. I know you did. She's the best. I love that. 0% chance you'd stay up FaceTiming your West Coast, sis. Yes. I wish I had been looking at all these. Yeah. Any questions? I'm like a legit open book. I'm not even kidding you. Before this call, I tagged Scotty. I did Beth's team call probably sometime I want to say like February probably. And during it, I was like wearing this super heavy sweater and I get so passionate when I'm talking. And I was like, and I interrupted the thing and I was like, I am so sweaty. Like I am like pit stain passionate right now. And she was like, you have to trademark that. Like we need that on shirts. And literally before this call, I was like, I'm getting so pit stain passionate. I'm not even talking yet. So if anyone's wondering, I'm just sitting in a puddle of my own sweat. That's what it is. You're welcome. But let me know. Let me know if you have any questions, and it doesn't really have to be.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for AMQ? I'm seeing silence.
Sean, I said a lot.
I absolutely, I know we got a ton of awesome nuggets from you. I love your energy, and I'm like, I've only read your story, and I watched some of your. By the way, I watched her Instagram stories for the past couple of days, and it was also a reminder to me. I'm one that kind of gets weird sometimes, where I put in things with my kids and stuff, but I'm like drinking my shake. Here's my post workout, and then not really showing so much. So thank you for that reminder. I was watching your stories, like, okay, I need to be better at that. So, anybody else have questions? I don't think. Oh, Emmanuel. Eman from Canada.
Oh, yeah. So how do I invite without a transformation? Great question. So I do have a transformation. So physically, I do have a transformation. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people. I have a decent following on Instagram that I've been growing very, very religiously for a long time. And there are people that have seen me, right? There's those OG people. I actually did a poll the other day, a couple days ago, and I was like, who's an OG? Like, who's been here since the beginning? And like, it was like 25% that and 75% new, obviously. But people have seen that. People have seen my physical journey, but my physical journey is one where it fluctuates, and I share about that very openly. So no, I don't do before and afters, but like you can see the weight on me. Like I just show up and I'll be like, well, this is what's happening. Like I'm 35, trying to get pregnant, super stressed about it. It's driving me crazy. Cool. Like I'm finding weight. Great, lovely. No, I'm not pregnant, everyone. Like I'm super humorous about it. And I think that people see that as like, damn, like she's just confident in wherever she's at. I don't press play on my workouts and be like, where are the abs? Are they loading? Like, that's just not who I am. I remember after I did Morning Meltdown, I was like, holy, I am ripped. But I'm telling you, I loved that program so much and was so focused on helping the humans in my community. I remember waking up one day, going to the bathroom and being like, oh, I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on my mental health and learning to like not restrict myself and do all these things. And I woke up one morning and like, okay, I do think that this can happen in your fitness where like you're doing it. And then 1 week it all comes together and you're like, damn, like all of a sudden your results show. It can happen that way for sure. But with consistency, obviously, there's the compound effect in that too. But for me, I just talk about like, I invite to a community. So when I'm sending an invite, I'm not necessarily like, hey, everyone knows who Shanti is. You should do this new Shanti dance program with me. It'll be like, people will like laugh at my reel or whatever, and make a comment or like it even. And I'll say, honestly, I'm having the most fun looking like a baby giraffe trying to do these dance moves. You should totally join this wannabe dancers crew of mine. That's literally what my invite sounds like. But a lot of the times my invites aren't written. Katie knows this. I like live in people's DMs on video. Why? Because like Scotty just said, I have a lot of energy. And so I want people to see that. That's who I am. I want them to know, like, this is what you're signing up for. Like, take it or leave it. You're going to have this little 410 loud mouth in your face all the time. I don't care, like it or not. And I think that's really huge, like getting creative with how you're inviting. For Morning Meltdown, did I invite to doing the program? Yeah, but I didn't know what I was doing yet. Like that was like when my business launched. Am I saying it's bad to do that? No. But for me, I have to lead with community and doing things like free groups. And I'll tell you, something that I learned, I am not in Jamie Fitzpatrick's downline. He's just become a really good friend of mine because once again, I thought he was the best thing in the world. So I was like, hi, I want to be your friend. And he was like, okay. And so that goes to show like, we're all just humans. He's literally like 30 minutes away from me. So I remember him telling me once, fitness is easy. Fitness is easy to talk about, right? It's like your safe zone when you're a coach. If you guys notice, if anyone follows Jamie, Scotty will know this. His name on Instagram until very recently was Jamie Fitzpatrick Fitness. His name on Instagram now is Jamie Fitzpatrick Entrepreneur. He is walking the walk. He told me that fitness is the easy thing to invite to. The coaching opportunity is the hard thing because it's different. It goes against the grain. You're setting yourself up for all those people who have opinions on network marketing. You don't want to have those tough conversations. But guess what? Your girl is an Enneagram 8 Wing 7. If you guys know anything about Enneagram at all, I'm obsessed. I am a challenger. So that's the 8. And Wing 7 makes me very confrontational. Me in a nutshell. You want to come at me and tell me that my job as a coach isn't a real job and that I make monopoly money? Cool. I'll explain to you why you're wrong and I'll do it forever. And is that a good use of my time? Some might say no, right? Some might be like, do not engage, whatever. But every time I defend what I'm doing, I realize just how much I love this opportunity and how blessed I am to have it. And then what happens? I turn it into content. Like I turn it into stories, I turn it into a reel, I turn it into a post, whatever it is. And you can get creative with your inviting. I, no joke, never invite really ever to fitness, to my challenge groups, because I'm not a challenge group person. I didn't need one. I don't really enjoy them. That's not the part of me, that the part of my business that thrives, but I'll do it when a new program comes out. So when Let's Get Up came out in 6:45, I'll do that. But I'm not ever, you guys like need to be here. Oh, this virtual gym community, it's the best. Like those are just, maybe one day, like I'll transformation, but I'm approaching my 6th year and I haven't yet. So who knows? Yeah, you can invite for mental health, strength, mobility, flexibility, aging. Katie's right. Katie speaks about a lot of those things when she invites too. So I also probably once a month address the fact that I don't post before and after photos in a post. I'll talk about it because, so thanks Emmanuel, because I'm going to do that this week. You just prompted me to do it. So because I think it's really important that I'm doing this successfully and I don't have to do that. And that also makes people realize like, oh, it doesn't have to always be, this is so much more. And that's why like I'll give people like you, Scotty, a hard time and be like, this is so much more than a workout and a shake. This is so much more than a workout and a shake. And I know right now it's so hard because so many of us can't take photos with our best friends and can't be in real life opportunities. And if they are, they're limited. And so it's hard to talk about community, but getting creative is the best thing I've ever done, right? My business skyrocketed during a global pandemic. Like I am a better coach now than I ever was before, right? And it's because I had to get creative. So hopefully this makes anyone who watches this realize that you don't have to have before and after photos to, we've all had that coach that's like, okay, so like, I'm gonna be a discount coach for now because I love the shakes, but like when I am this size, when I have these results, then I'll coach actively. It's like, how do you feel? Do you feel good? Talk about that. Simple, you know? And as a mentor, that's what you have to do to people. You have to make them realize like, it's not just about the physical, and just challenge them, you know? When someone says no to me, I ask them why. Same thing. When a coach is like, I don't want to coach actively until I've lost X amount of weight. I'm like, why? Why? Like, you don't think your story matters now? And I just challenge them. But that's my personality. So you can't, again, I'm not saying everyone's going to be like me. Yep, full on lockdown. Feel ya.
I want to touch base on that, on Emmanuel's question, on Eman's question about inviting. I think about when I first started, like I was building online, learning social media for the first time in early 2011. I was doing a local fit club, like working out, like inviting people to work out on the projector and inviting people over for barbecues. And we have a healthy barbecue, share Shakeology and all that stuff. And literally my invite, like I had a transformation, but my first diamond coach, like she didn't have her transformation when she went diamond. She still needed to lose like 50 or 60 pounds.
Right.
Her story would just emulated what I was telling her and telling people in her own story. Like, I'd be like, you guys can see, like my wife is not here. Like she's at work and she'll be home at 11:30. She actually works every single night. and I'd be like, I'd have a car seat with a baby in it and then one baby in the other arm, because my kids were like 6 weeks, 2 and 4 when I first started. And they'd be at Fit Club sitting in the corner. And so the story was like, I'm running this Fit Club, or I'm helping you. I want to help you lose these 40 pounds with P90X or Insanity, because if I help enough people get results of these programs, my wife doesn't have to work nights. So that was the story. Like that, I wasn't selling P90X and Shakeology. I was selling that opportunity to help people get results like I was getting, and also be able to, like, that hope for something better. And so I remember my first diamond, like her story was like she signed up as a coach right from the beginning, not a customer, because she's like, oh, like I'm a single mom and I'm working at the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me that if I lose these 50, 60 pounds, like I could be earning enough to work from home and not have to put my child in daycare. So she was inviting without the results, like doing the same thing I was doing. Hey, like I'm going to lose these 50 pounds with Turbo Fire, and you can do it with me. And, you know, I'm going to be so committed to helping you get these results because it means I can be home with my daughter. So Emmanuel, you see how I was inviting, she was inviting without even talking about the results really. So remember that. And that goes along with what AMQ is talking about with, you know, not having to share a before after picture, but just inviting to what the bigger picture of what this is, the community, the hope for something better, and all of that stuff. So
same with like if you're currently in a job. So like for example, like I said, I loved my travel job, right? But my followers, like people that have been around for a while, they know like I was gone all the time. And like, yes, coaching was great because I got to share, like, I'm taking my little DVD. Remember those like plug-in DVD things to your laptop? Like I would take those with me and set up shop like at the hotel, in a park, in the airport lounges when I had layovers. Like I would do that and show it. And people would be like, damn, okay, I can do it. She can do it. But I also talked about like, I don't want it to always look like this. Like, this is what I'm doing now so that it doesn't have to always look like this. And I would talk about that. And it's cool now when like my Facebook memories come up or my Instagram memories come up, I'm like, damn, I'm doing the damn thing. Like I said I was going to do it and I did. And you have to bring your followers on that journey with you, right? Like I said about NLC, my team knew, my followers had no idea what New Leader Conference was, but they were like, that thing that you said you're going to be able to, you know, I've had people join my team being like, oh my God, oh wow, like I remember you talking about this before I was even on your team. And like now they're leaders on my team, right? And that's the thing, Pete. You know that reel? I haven't made it yet, but I'm going to, where it's like, you're inspiring more people than you think. Like that one. That's literally Beachbody coaching in a nutshell. We should all do that reel, because my current top leader never has hit the love button or read any of my DMs ever. And she joined my team and is blowing it up. Like I didn't know she was there. I couldn't have invited her because she wouldn't watch my stories from her account. I found out later that she like created some like bot account to create my stories so that I wouldn't DM her. Like people are committed, you know, and you never know who's watching you and who's going to turn out to be a rock star. This girl's like, joined my team and was like, I'm going to be your next top coach. I'm going to be your next top coach. I'm going to be your next top coach. I'm like over and over again in our first call. And I was like, this is my kind of person. She's telling me because she respects me and she knows I'll hold her accountable. That's what I do. So anyway, I'm rambling as per usual.
I love that.
But I think it's important, right? That like you have to be the energy that you want to attract. It's like, I know it sounds so lame, but like really, I was honestly really attracting some like energy vampires in my life. And I was like, oh, that's because I am one. Like, I know it's not an easy conversation to have, but like my husband was like, I love you so much, but like, you know, like you're not really being yourself right now. So like, what do you expect? And was I still onboarding people? Yeah, totally. Right. But was I like really excited? No, because I would talk to them and it would be like complaints first. I did not have a problem, a solutions driven team. Let's just put it that way. There was no solutions driven team that I had at this time we were an elite team. We became an elite team. I'm going to tell you guys, with a bunch of complainers. So if I can do it with a bunch of complainers, then all of us can do it. Whatever your goal is, doesn't have to be elite. Whatever your goal is, you can do whatever you want to do with humans who are the humans you want to spend your time with, who want to be in your orbit. I keep manifesting, like picturing when we're finally on these trips, and I'm like, okay, who do I want beside me in these pictures? You know what I mean? Like, truly, who? And I don't necessarily mean like a physical human being that's in my orbit yet. I literally am like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, who do I want? I want the girl who's going to be like taking photos with like 6 different cameras because she wants to take in all those memories. I want the girl who's the woo girl, right? I want the girl who is like I was. I didn't say this, but this is also important. I know some people have gone, but I was the girl who went to Summit for 5 years straight. Okay. And brought 20 people. My team would come, right? I'd have like 20 girls that would come. We'd book out Airbnbs. I'd have a poppin' team as a diamond team, right? They'd all be inspired. They'd leave. Guess what would happen? They'd leave excited, but leader AMQ wasn't so much a leader, so they didn't know what to do. They just, unfortunately, they could have figured it out on their own, but none of them did, unfortunately. And so every year I would have these like massive team things, and I'd come home and I'd be like, this is the year. And I'd be like, this is the year for what? I didn't set a goal. I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, this is the year for what? I didn't even know what it meant to be an elite coach until I became an elite coach. Like, I wasn't doing the work. And I would sit there, and like my friend Brittany Hulko, which I know you guys have heard from a couple weeks ago, would go across the stage, and I'd be the girl in the 300s, you know, what's my friend? And like, you know, like Jamie and Kim would like the CO award, and I'd be like, yeah. I was like the girl, the woo girl, always like, those are my friends, yay. Never, ever imagining that I could have potentially also been on the stage with them. Like, I was cool in the 300s. I was like, this is where I'm comfortable, you know? And I did none of that shit anymore. Like, I don't even want my team to be woo girls, because I don't even want them to be sitting in those seats. Like, I want them to be on stage next year with me. I don't even want there to be anyone sitting in the seats to woo. We're going to woo at each other when we're beside each other. You know, like, that's what you need to imagine. And it sounds really weird, but I do that. Like, when I sit down every morning and I write my gratitude journal, I'm like, okay, like I visualize the traits that I want in a human when I'm physically with them. And I think that that's how you build this business in a way that feels good, right, to who you are. So all of that was all the information you didn't ask for, but there it is.
We'll take all that information. AMQ, I want to say once again, thank you so much for your energy. I see some of our Star Diamond leaders saying they loved it as well. So we're so grateful that you spent your time, gave your energy to us. And I'm like, I want some AMQ on our team. Like, I'm
Well,
gonna start visualizing.
Hey, listen, anything I can ever do to help. If you guys like, honestly, my DMs
Cool.
are very, very
Awesome.
open. Anything you ever need, I'm here.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. I'm going to let you guys all go. This will be recorded up on the YouTube channel. So if you know somebody on your team that needs to hear this message, make sure to share that with them. And we'll see you guys in the team page and on next week's team call. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, friends.
See ya.